Hey, I don't care who you work for. You can't just... Oh, you're the rookie, aren't you? Not exactly, but I get a lot of unwanted visitors. Kinda comes with the territory here. The one and only. Well, the Marshal's message said you were following a lead about a stolen ship. Truth is, a lot of stolen goods flow through here, but this city is real good at keeping its secrets, even from us. No, I think you should be careful. You can count on my help if you play by the rules. This isn't Aquila City. The badge doesn't carry the same weight here. The people who run this place aren't overly concerned about the law. Our job is to keep the peace and make sure the violence doesn't get out of hand. The last thing anyone around here wants is some hotshot deputy looking in every dark corner.
You should take his words to heart.
That would be Benjamin Bayou. He's out to squeeze every credit he can from the people of this city, and he doesn't much care who gets hurt in the process. He's also got a seat on the Council of Governors, which proves that if you've got enough credits, you can buy anything you want. I pick my battles, and I pick them carefully. Our first duty is to protect the people of the Freestar Collective. But sometimes you have to choose which people to protect, because not everyone is innocent. Rookies.
With an attitude like that, at least I know we will not be bored.
Your stolen ship would have had to land at the spaceport. If it was right off the factory floor, it would have stood out. There's a guy I know, Billy Clayton, does maintenance work around the city and keeps an eye on ship traffic for me. I'll introduce you, but don't expect a favor. Even if it doesn't cost credits, nothing in Neon is free. Stay out of people's business until you can't. Be willing to let the small stuff slide. Don't break up a fight unless it's getting out of hand. Most of all, don't assume that badge will protect you. Of course, Neon's full of desperate people who have nowhere else to turn. For some, it's the drugs. For others, it's gambling. There are a lot of ways to lose everything in this city. My rule is simple. If someone brought it on themselves, then I don't get involved. Rangers are supposed to exercise good judgment. I'm one person here. I can't help everybody. The best I can do is try to protect the ones who are innocent. And believe me, it's a full-time job. This is Neon. There are no guarantees, and who I find trustworthy changes on a daily basis. Talk to him or don't, it's your call. Come on. Hey, Billy, you got a second?
What? Oh, it's you. Gave me a good scare. I thought you were one of Goodman's people.
Sure, far from it. Our new deputy here is working a case, and I thought you might be able to help. Take it away, rookie.
What do you need? A stolen Hope Tech ship, huh? Well, here's the thing. Neon's got no end of shipjackers. I see them come and go every day. It's tough for a guy to remember one from the other, you know what I mean?
Everything in Neon has a price.
Credits ain't really what I need. There is something you could do for me.
If you ask me, there are better uses for credits.
I can help you, but right now my life is in danger, and I haven't even done anything wrong. Freestar Rangers are supposed to protect the innocent, right?
Please, just hear me out, okay? I need to know I can count on you.
Then you need to hear this. It's about my brother. He died while still in debt to a syndicate loan shark by the name of Emmett Goodman. Now, Goodman's coming after me to collect. He says if I don't pay up, I'm a dead man.
An all too familiar story in this city.
Yeah, but I never thought I'd be part of one of those stories. Did my best to stay out of trouble, but found me anyway. The only one that matters around here, the Seoka Syndicate. They pretty much run the city. With that being said, rumor has it that Emmett Goodman is on the outs, so they might not miss him much if he were to disappear. I swear it on my best set of wrenches. Goodman's holed up in one of the warehouses on Epside. Place is locked up tight, but there's a guard who watches the door, and he's got the key.
I'll stay with Billy in case Goodman's men come to collect. They're not stupid enough to tangle with me.
You'd better keep walking. This is private property. Do you now? That makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. You go in, talk to the man, and then you come right back out. Try anything stupid, and it's your funeral.
Well now, always happy to have a visitor. Tell me, what brings you by, friend? Little light on credits, are you? It's awful kind of you to intervene on my behalf, but I think I have the matter well in hand. Thank you all the same for your concern.
I do not find that very amusing.
Now that's where you're wrong. Cal agreed to my terms, including collection from family on the event of his passing. It ain't my fault he dragged Billy into it, but make no mistake, that's exactly what he did. What's your stake in this anyway? Well, I'm afraid that's just none of my concern. Then offer me something I want, and I'll consider it. I think you may be right. Let's just calm down now. I suppose I could make an exception. It's just this once, you understand. Just promise me you'll keep my compassionate nature a secret. Folks might try to take advantage.
Did you talk to Goodman? Well, have you got any proof?
When a ranger says they're gonna do something, they do it. Now start talking.
Okay. Time for me to keep my end of the bargain. The woman you're looking for is named Grace Early. Stealing ships is her line of work. She usually comes here to sell the goods. Rumor has it she just finished a job for some mercenary outfit, and she's been throwing money around, so must have paid well.
I know her. When she isn't out on a job, she's a regular at Madame Sauvage's. That's on the upper platform. I'll back you up.
A Freestar Ranger, and his... what are you? A sidekick or something? Now that's what I call real conviction. So how come I'm talking to the sidekick instead of the ranger?
This is the deputy's case.
Is that so? And you had to bring backup just for little old me? I'm flattered. Anyway, this ain't my first interrogation, so let's just get on with it. A time or two, maybe more. And yet here I am, walking free. That remains to be seen. I'm guessing this is the part where you tell me that you've got questions and that you expect me to answer them. That sound about right? All right. So I jacked a ship. It was just a little fun. I didn't even keep it. It was a job. I turned it over to some men, and they took off for who knows where. End of story. Nothing I did put anyone in danger, okay? Hey, all I did was provide them with transportation. They didn't say anything about where they were going or why. Look, I wouldn't have got involved if I thought anyone would be hurt. I've got no love for violence.
Not asking questions is just as bad as giving consent. If that woman had been killed, you'd be an accessory to murder. Did you think about that?
No, I guess I didn't. It's not that simple. You're starting to make a lot of sense. Yeah. I hope so. I guess if I can't trust a Freestar Ranger, then I can't trust anyone, right? I was approached by a woman named Maya Cruz. Said she was a senior member of the First and that she had a job for me. She was working with someone inside Hope Tech and pitched me on the idea of jacking a ship right out of the factory. We were deep into planning the job when she had some kind of medical emergency. She said she needed surgery and would be in recovery for a long time. That was a few weeks ago. Haven't heard from her since. No, but it sounded serious. She was upset. Seemed kind of shaken, you know? Didn't seem right I should pry, so I didn't. Only some kind of offhanded comment about their client wanting to expand the operation ahead of schedule. In my line of work, you learn not to ask a lot of questions. It tends to make people uncomfortable. You serious? Take your pick. Money, reputation, the thrill of it. All good reasons. Not long after that, I got a message from a guy named Marco. He said he was the money man for the First, and he offered half up front. Never met him directly, though. It was always through intermediaries and using encrypted slates. Got the feeling he was paranoid as hell.
Do you have one of those encrypted slates on you right now?
Yeah. Here. Take it. I'm done with all this. Anything else you want to know? No. Nothing at all. Left me feeling a little disappointed, given how well they paid me. Not so much as a hint. I'll tell you, he's as cagey a fixer as I've ever met.
Bankrolling the First must take a lot of money. Sure, he's got all kinds of side hustles going on.
Nothing, really. I was told when and where to meet them. They paid me what I was owed, and that was it. Yeah, sure.
Next time you're at the Rock, you should give that encrypted slate to Ranger Alex Shadid. He's got a gift for cryptography. If anyone could crack that slate, it'll be him. I'm gonna head back. Good luck, Deputy.
Then I'm free to go. Suits me. I'm getting too old for this line of work. Besides, I'm going out on a high note. Ain't many can say they grabbed a ship right out of Hope Tech. Should make a good story for the kids one day.
Hey, I wondered when you might come by. I'm Alex. Nia's report said you were heading for Neon? I've always wanted to go there. What did you think? Oh, I can't fly anywhere. Issues with my eustachian tubes. Being in a pressurized environment is like someone taking a laser cutter to the sides of my head. It's not great, but at least I can pretend to visit the party capital of the galaxy by having you tell me about it. What? You serious? Well, that's a first. I guess not everyone likes to have a good time. Speaking of which, on to business. So how'd it go? Turn up anything useful? Did he now? Well, in that case, challenge accepted. It's only a matter of time before I know every dirty little secret stored in this thing. Now, if you get any more of these, bring them to me. It helps if I can compare different instances of the encryption they're using. Just look for me up here. I have no life, so I'm not usually hard to find. It'll take as long as it takes. You can't rush a job like this. One thing I can promise you, though, is that it'll go a lot faster if I don't have to answer silly questions. Oh, why should I? Nothing but dirt, cold air, and Asha waiting for me out there. I like my nice, cozy, antisocial office space much more, thanks. Oh, I will. I guarantee it.
Welcome back. Any luck finding out who stole that ship from Hope Tech? Glad you got a chance to meet him. Sounds like you're making real progress. Good. Stay focused on the task at hand and don't take your eye off the target. That's how a ranger should think. What did you learn from this starship thief? Now we're getting somewhere. Sounds like you've got a couple of new leads to follow up on. I have a guess who Marco might be. I served with Maya Cruz. She's a technical genius and an expert hacker. I can give you some background if you want it, or we can go straight to planning your next move. There was a mech driver in the 1st Cavalry named Marco Graziani. He came from money. And when the 1st Cav got a reputation as the top unit, he transferred in. Rumor was that bribes made it happen. Marco had a knack for getting hold of anything we needed. There was talk the family fortune came from smuggling, and I believe it. He had this dream to become a wealthy businessman when he got out. But I guess that got put on hold when they locked him up. They said she was a child prodigy, which probably explains her arrogance. Even so, she was fiercely loyal to Major Hull. I don't think she'd ever give him up. If you find her, don't expect her to cooperate. Like what? Around the time he got out of jail, we started hearing Marco's name in circulation. Word is he's heading up a smuggling racket. Based on what you've learned, I'd presume he's funneling his ill-gotten gains to the 1st. Ranger Autumn McMillan is out at Red Mile right now, looking into the smuggling operation. I suggest you pool your resources. Just remember, that's outside Freestar Collective space, so we've got no jurisdiction there. Most likely place would be the clinic. It's in Freestar Collective space and provides the best medical services credits can buy. They also guarantee privacy, so it's an ideal place for someone trying to keep a low profile. Ranger Ben Armistead is posted there. I'll send him an update on the situation. Your priority is to gather more intel about the 1st. What are they planning? Who are they working for? Where are they headquartered? Just remember that your targets were locked up because they were loyal to their unit. They think the Freestar Collective betrayed them. In other words, you ain't gonna get a warm welcome, so be careful. Good hunting, Deputy.
Yeah? Got some trouble? Oh, now hold on a minute. You're the new deputy, ain't you? Yeah, the Marshal's been sending out reports, keeping us all in the loop in your investigation. Well, now that'd be telling, wouldn't it? It ain't anything bad, if that's what you're wondering. You just keep your mind on the task at hand. Yep, I'm pretty well caught up on things. Ben Armistead, pleased to meet you. Well, I guess that's the long and short of it. You're the newest member of the Rangers, and I'm the oldest. So, is one of them first mercenaries here at the clinic? Well, I think you made the right decision to come here. No better place in the settled systems to get medical treatment. You can bet it beats anything them UC piglets got. Ironic, given they're the ones who built it. I know just the man who can help you. Right this way, Deputy. Hey there, Ari. Working hard or hardly working?
Hey, Chief. A little more the former than the latter. What brings you by?
Well, the deputy here could use some help. Came looking for someone who might be a patient.
I'll see what I can do.
Well, I'll leave you in Mr. Miller's capable hands. You need anything else, I'll be in my office.
I'll try to help you, but our computer systems have been having some issues.
The patient records database is acting up. Access is a lot slower than normal, and I have no idea why.
I'll look into it later. For now, let's focus on your investigation. Huh. Well, we don't give the patients free access to our computer system, so I doubt that's related. Still, it's worth keeping in mind. So who's the suspect you're after? Former soldier, huh? They say war changes people forever. Makes me sad, the thought of soldiers who come home and don't fit in anymore. The name's not ringing any bells, but maybe we can approach this another way. Do you know what was wrong with her? That should be more than enough.
I can access the patient records from my terminal, assuming the database cooperates. Come on.
If Maya's here, then she's got to be using an alias. Which actually makes a lot of sense if she's a wanted woman. I guess it's possible. Maybe I can give you another option. All right, hang on. I know that we do have a few female patients staying with us. There's Candace... what's her last name? Doolin. Candace Doolin. And then there's the Nakamori woman. I think her name's Jane. I don't recall offhand what they're here for, but it's a start. You're welcome to use the Ranger Station terminal. I'll enable admin access for you.
Yes. What do you want? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid we don't take walk-ins. If you want a room in our VIP wing, you'll need to make arrangements in advance. Even if that were true, which I doubt, access to that area is strictly limited. Who exactly are you? And I require you to respect my authority as a senior doctor here at the clinic. The answer is no. The rules are the rules, no exceptions.
Flexibility clearly is not one of his virtues.
Oh, I wasn't aware. I suppose if I can't trust a colleague, then I can't trust anyone. This will get you in. Conduct your investigation quickly and without disruption. I do hope you won't make me regret this.
Well, what are you waiting for? Finish it. Because that's what we were hired to do. The pay was good, too. But the best part was getting to stick it to the people who turned their backs on us. Of course it is! We spent 20 years behind bars because our leaders got scared and called off our attack just when we had the battle won. And did the people of the Freestar Collective that we fought and died for come to our defense? No! They did nothing. Nothing! Well, now they can die. Just like most of our unit did. I can't wait until you find out.
No more signs of trouble.
Fine. I ain't feeling conversational anyway. Yeah. We've got a base, a good one, too. Spent months of my life getting that place up and running. As for where it is, you're going to have to figure that out on your own. Of course I ain't. What kind of fool would be eager to die? I'm just not stupid enough to deny what's inevitable. I wish I were. How about I make this real simple for us both? I've got maybe a few weeks to live, and I ain't spending them behind bars. You want to put an end to me here and now? Then fine. Get it over with. Life's kicked me around enough as it is. But if you want to let me die on my own terms, then leave me in peace. I've been abused or abandoned by everyone I ever got close to. Gave up on people and put my faith in machines instead. Wasn't until I came to the 1st Cavalry and met Major Hull that I felt I could trust someone again. Well, how about a test? Rangers are known to be handy with a gun. But here's a problem you'll have to solve with your brain instead. I've encrypted this slate. If you can crack it, you'll learn something useful. Now get out of here and leave me in peace.
Hey there, Deputy. Way I hear it, you've been keeping busy jumping from one side of the Freestar Collective to the other. How do you like the job so far? That's good to hear. So, what brings you by? It's going well so far. I think I'm close to a breakthrough. With enough data, I'll be able to tell you everything they're up to. Well, well, what do we have here? Well, this is new. Very interesting indeed. I'll see what I can do. If you can get me another one of these, it'll give me more context for the encryption and should speed things up. In the meantime, you be careful out there, Deputy. From what I've heard, these mercs mean business.
Wait a minute. Judging by the wide-eyed and clueless look on your face, I'm guessing you're the new deputy. We'll find out, won't we? Well, your timing couldn't be worse. I've spent weeks trying to crack this smuggling ring, and I'm about to take a very important meeting. Because I've trained new recruits before, and it's not an experience I want to repeat. I hope so. I don't have time to catch you up, so you're gonna have to follow my lead. I'm about to meet with a contact who might be able to give me vital information about the smuggling ring. If you play your cards right and don't do anything stupid, she might be able to help you find Marco. If you're ready, my contact is here and waiting. She won't be staying long, so I don't have time to brief you. You'll find out everything you need to know when you meet with her. I'm at a critical point in my investigation, and frankly, your presence here is an unwelcome complication. Now let's just get this over with. Follow me.
Who are you? Wait, Autumn has friends?
Like hell. The deputy here is interested in meeting Marco to talk about that mercenary company he's been funding. Since part of that money is coming from his smuggling operation, we're working together.
So you're investigating the first? Why? Seems like a strange thing for a mercenary company to be doing.
I guess an introduction is in order. Like Marco, Jade here is the head of a small smuggling cartel. Difference is her crew stays out of Freestar Collective space, while Marco's group operates exclusively within it.
Except now he's looking to expand his operation, and he started moving in on my territory. Because it might get a little awkward if my sister here had to arrest me. If you think this gives you some kind of leverage, you're wrong. Sure, he might slow me down for a while, but a little competition won't break me. Well, thanks for the economics lesson, but I think I know my trade. Look, the bad news is, Marco's incredibly paranoid. He never stays in one place for long. The good news is, I know how to find him.
But you're not gonna tell us yet because you want something.
I want the same thing you do. I want Marco out of the picture. But like I said, getting a meeting with him can be damn near impossible. One of the few people who can arrange such a meeting is right here at Red Mile.
May Divine. We've suspected for some time that Red Mile was a meeting place for smugglers. If she's in business with Marco, she won't give him up easily.
She's the owner and manager here. Inherited the place when her husband was killed. May's the key to this whole thing, but I don't know her. Maybe try to get on her good side? Yeah, well, so can she. I can tell you right now what she's gonna want, because it's the same thing she always wants. She wants runners. It's how she makes most of her money. Of course, people that hard-blooded aren't easy to find.
Yeah, well, I'm not going out on the mile. That's a death sentence. There has to be another way.
You've been a ranger long enough that too many people know your face and your name. Runners attract a lot of attention. If someone recognizes you and tips off May, this whole thing is shot. You, on the other hand, are just a deputy. It's pretty unlikely that a lot of people know you.
You don't have to do this. We'll find another way to get to Marco. You serious? Damn. There's not many people who can say that.
You have played your hand well, Jade. Using the Rangers to eliminate a rival. Very clever.
From where I'm sitting, we're using each other.
If it's really as simple as asking May Divine for a meeting with Marco, then I guess that's all you need to do. We'll wait here for you. Try not to die. Will you?
That is true. But Mr. Graziani values his privacy. What is your business with him, exactly? It's no small favor that you're asking. But yes, I can arrange such a meeting. It's been too long since we've had proper entertainment. If you're willing to provide it, I'll give you Marco. You've run the Red Mile and survived. Show me that you can do it again. Oh, I'm afraid this is the only thing that I want from you. At least for now. Good. As before, I'll collect wagers from our patrons who will bet on your survival. That's what every runner says.
You definitely have at least 50-50 chance.
Now that we're clear on what's expected of you, are you ready to begin? Good. Come with me and I'll introduce you. Congratulations, runner. Once again, you've succeeded where most have failed. To challenge the mile more than once and live to tell the tale is rare indeed. Indeed you have, and in most impressive fashion. As promised, I'll set up your meeting with Marco. I'll dispatch a courier to let him know you're coming. Please take a moment to relax and enjoy our hospitality. I'll return shortly.
You're back. Are you okay?
I'd fire the lot of you right now.
And here I was feeling like a nervous wreck the whole time. Guess I had nothing to worry about. Anyway, I'm relieved you made it through okay.
Why? Afraid you'd lose all that work you put into your smuggling investigation?
I wouldn't expect you to understand. All you see in people is what you can get from them. I'm glad, because that was an incredibly brave thing you did. And we need rangers with that kind of courage. Also, I owe you an apology. I was pretty awful to you at first. I'm sorry about that.
Spare me.
No, it's not that. I had a bad experience with another deputy that I was training. I'll tell you all about it after this is over. Okay? So you need to stay alive, or you'll never hear the story. You're right. Let's focus on the job. Once you're on your way, I'll return to the Rock and let the Marshal know what's going on. Come home safe, Deputy. That's an order.
You always were the soft one, little sister.
Oh, go to hell. Or at least make yourself useful and get us some drinks.
Time for me to keep my promise, runner? You can find Marco on Kodos aboard his ship. I'd advise you not to keep him waiting. He is not exactly patient. Only that someone wanted a meeting. Don't expect to catch him unprepared. He keeps a sizable force of mercenaries aboard his ship as bodyguards. He's intelligent, well-connected, and utterly ruthless. He's also a man of taste who appreciates the finer things. You'll find out soon enough what I mean.
Good.
Travel safely, runner. Should you ever crave the challenge of the mile again, it will be here, waiting for you.
You bastards back for round 2. What? Who the hell are you? Too bad for me if I was. You don't seem like much of a replacement. Stranded spacers are what passes for tourist attractions these days, huh? I'm Betty, by the way. I'm a bounty hunter. At least I was, until Lucky Lou here got trashed. Now I'm just your run-of-the-mill dead woman walking. I'm screwed if I can't find a way out of here. If you know anyone who's in the market for a demolitions expert with a happy trigger finger, send them my way. You're standing on her, kid. Lucky Lou's the name of my ship. What do I look like? Your drinking buddy? I'm not gonna spill my guts to a stranger. Some business broke bad, that's all I'm saying about it. Works for me, but I'm gonna need some kind of compensation. How about you give me a repair kit for my ship, and I'll join your crew? Won't even charge you for my services, since you're saving my ass. Thanks a mill. I'd be space dust without you.
Not used to people coming up to me. The suit usually scares them off. Although I guess that's my fault, isn't it? I guess you could say I've always had it. Once you've been all over, like I have, you might find yourself in something like this too. Ouch. 2 minutes into this conversation and I'm already getting sized up. Well, outside heroic individuals like yourself, the suit can give people pause. That can be handy when I need it. Retired, actually, from too many lives to count. But I've been all those things, yeah? And a few more. I spend a lot of time in the fringes these days. God help you if you come across something someone wants. You'd think it was things like civilizations and factions that cause people to want to shoot each other. No, even without that, it's still winner take all. Well, you're on to me. Of course. That's what makes the reality so tragic. Wait a second. I think I'm in danger of having a real conversation with someone for a change. Better stop here. I'm sure we'll see each other again.
It has been a relief to be honest with you about my past. I appreciate your willingness to listen. But talking about this, remembering all those years, has brought back some unsettling memories. That is exactly why I feel it important. I need to work through this. I have told you that I spent many years coordinating with smugglers along the edges of the settled systems. There were men and women I worked alongside closely. And over time, I established relationships. They were not of the promised, but I considered them friends. It describes the people of House Varun, we who have been promised to serve the Great Serpent now and forever. In exchange, he promises to care for us when he returns to his domain. Yes, very. It was not what I was expecting. You must understand. I was raised to believe that those who do not follow the Great Serpent do not matter, for they are lost. Their fate is fixed and grim. And yet here were these men and women with hopes and dreams, delights and aversions. It felt like a small betrayal of my people, of House Varun, but I cared for my friends. And then I lost them. It's not something I have much experience with. It was so sudden. We had met on a remote planet to transfer cargo, and zealots appeared in force, seemingly out of nowhere. There was barely time to react. So many were cut down immediately. I believe my years of training saved me, got me moving when others faltered. I retreated to my ship immediately. But I left them all behind. Aaron Bascom and Jada Wong. They were my friends, and I abandoned them. And in the years since, I have never looked for them. No. I told myself it's because I never had the time, but in truth, I was scared of what I'd find. "10 years. I was immediately reassigned to another role, light years away. No, maybe. I don't know. It all happened so fast, and I've had so much time since then to replay it in my head. Wonder if I should have done things differently. In my time getting to know you, I have thought more and more of all this. How little sense it all made, how I never really knew what happened or what became of my friends. My connection to you has reminded me what it means to trust someone, to be there for them. And I can no longer live with not knowing. I need to finally pursue this. I would like you with me when I do. I do not know what we will find, but I know it will be easier with you at my side. I am not sure I will find any comfort in it, but I think it is important nonetheless. I am not sure where they might be now, but I believe we should begin the search in Aquila City. That is where I last saw Aaron Bascom. He is not here. I am disappointed, but relieved somehow? No. This is the only place he would be. I know him well enough to know that. Someone here must know more. We should inquire about him.
If you're here about the blood stain, I'll get to it when I get to it. You ain't here looking for Erin. She is.
Hello, Aggie. I was unsure whether you would remember me. It has been a long time.
I ain't likely to forget you anytime soon. I don't know. You tell me. You're the one blundering in here with her in tow, asking questions. I heard you ain't deaf. She didn't ruin Aaron's life enough the first time, huh? Back for more?
Ruined his life? How dare you?
Did she tell you what she did to him? How she left him bleeding on some godforsaken rock in the middle of nowhere? Now, after all this time, you could have dropped in any time in, the last 9 years or so. Maybe that wouldn't have been too convenient for you, though. Aaron sat in that corner for years, scared of his own shadow, convinced the damned zealots were coming back to finish the job. The few credits he had to rub together that didn't get spent on drink, he spent on setting himself up someplace where they couldn't find him. Wouldn't trust anyone that walked through the door. Only ever talked to me when he was drunk enough. Look, I've seen all kinds of sad sacks over the years. Most of them brought it on themselves. He was no different. Got himself in over his head, mixed up in something he shouldn't have been. Still, not pretty to watch the slide down afterwards. Aaron ain't been in here for almost a year now. Showed up one day saying he'd gone and got himself set up on Hyla too, thanking me for letting him stay here so often. It was the closest I'd seen him to happy in I don't know how long. And that was it. Never came through the door again.
Did he ever mention me?
You mean, did he blame you? That's what you want to know. I know guilt when I see it. Don't try and deny it.
Fine. Did he blame me?
No. Believed you were one of the good ones, right up until the last time I talked to him. Me? I don't think your kind has good ones.
My kind?
I know what you are. You take your holier-than-thou bullshit and your great serpent and shove 'em.
You dare insult me like this when I have come to you asking for help. I should kill you where you stand. You're right. We should focus on finding him.
Well, this has been so much fun. You see Aaron, you tell him I got a bottle of his favorite stashed away if he ever shows up again. But honestly, I'm hoping he doesn't.
Hey, stranger. I think your ship's missing something. Me? I'm the best survivalist around, and I'm looking for work. You interested? On the contrary, you look as tough as they come. I like that in a person. Means you're not afraid to get your boots dirty out in the space lanes. And if that's the case, then you need backup. That's where a hard-blooded guy like me comes in. I know a lot about firearms, and I'm one hell of a shot. You can trust me to back you up in any fight we come across. And that goes double for hunting aliens. I've gone toe-to-toe with creatures that make your head spin, and I've barely broken a sweat. Well, that's great. Now, I'm not a greedy man, but I expect fair compensation. Got family nearby that need providing for. Fantastic. You won't regret it.
We have something to go on, at least. I am grateful that you showed some compassion, despite that woman's attitude. I do not have your patience. You are more diplomatic than I would be. One more reason I am glad to have you with me. I'm eager to reach Hyla too, and speak to Aaron. Perhaps there is something we can do to help him. Provide him a sense of safety. Yes, please. He is a quiet man, reserved. I believe he had lived through a great many hardships, though he never spoke of them. I never felt it proper to ask. He valued his personal space and quiet moments. It was one thing we always shared in common. Years ago, I had heard he was alive, but did not attempt to contact him. I did not feel it was right. I hope this is not a mistake. I do not know, not for sure. I did not see them fall that day, and I suppose I have hoped they survived. I admit I have not investigated before now, at least in part because of what I feared I might learn. House Varun is in a distant corner of space, far away from the rest of the settled systems. While this serves our interests, it can also pose challenges. Many critical resources are scarce, and diplomatic relations with the United Colonies and Freestar Collective were tense at the best of times. It was the most practical way to acquire what we need, without raising too many questions. Still is. Very well. You do not need to ask me if you may ask. You may just Ask. I am not surprised you have questions. It is not for the faint of heart, I assure you. To know what the future will bring, what will be not just your fate, but that of all those around you. And yet to have no choice but to keep that to yourself. It is a challenge. But as I have told you, it also fills me with purpose. And that purpose is what guides me and drives me. You might as well just ask me to explain the universe. Here is what I can tell you. The Great Serpent revealed himself to Jinan Barun decades ago. He explained that it was he who had created this galaxy and breathed life into it. And while he had slumbered after his creation, he would return soon. And when he did, those who had served him in his stead would be rewarded, while the rest were cast into shadow. And so, for generations, we have prepared for his return. That is not for me to decide. If the High Council summons me home, I will go. Until then, I will perform whatever tasks they ask of me. I am human. Of course it bothers me. But I have a mission. My mission helps preserve the lives and safety of my people. That is more important than my personal feelings. For all that I have seen and experienced, I have never been as afraid as the day Sarah and Vladimir confronted me. But they agreed to keep my secret. And they have held true to their word. That surprised me, but also gave me some amount of comfort. I know that most would not react the same. House Varun is still widely hated in the settled systems. And that sentiment will not change anytime soon. It is, after all, much of the reason I was sent here in the first place. You know, of course, of our tumultuous history with the people of the settled systems. Few have forgiven the Serpent's crusade. The High Council worries that many would still plot to wipe us out completely. And so we watch. We look for warning signs and we send word back. And it does not help that we are unfortunately still dependent on supplies. Life on the edge of the settled systems is difficult, and no one will formally trade with us. So agents also help oversee deals with smugglers and the operations needed to transport supplies back home. You are welcome. We should be on our guard here. If we could detect the camp from orbit, it means others could too. And I have no idea what fortifications he may have. When we arrive, would you let me speak to him first? I think that is important right now. You do have your moments, yes. But it sounds like he has been on edge for years now. I would hate to make the situation even worse. Let us proceed slowly and carefully. I do not want to antagonize him. I don't know what to say. I thought there would be a chance to speak to him. To make amends. Or at least to hear him curse me for leaving him. I was prepared to accept that. I did not think I would find him like this. At least these vermin didn't get him. He's been gone for... Well, clearly it's been some time. Look around. There will be correspondence from Jada Wong, I am sure of it. This cannot all be for nothing. You found something. Please, let me see it. I should have guessed. Jada was always the one to run towards trouble. Of course she would still be doing it now. In her own way. For anyone else, I would say the chances of survival are slim. But for Jada, she is alive and on a mission. I would bet my life on it. Jada was younger than some of the other smugglers we contracted. There was concern she would be unreliable. As time went on, we called on her more and more often, eventually relying on her almost exclusively. She was sharp, a skilled pilot and very, very determined. Always talking about her big plans for retirement, how she would live like a queen. I am not surprised that she would desire revenge. But to go this far, we need to find her. But before we go, I've discovered something else, and I do not know what to make of it. Aaron was composing a reply to Jada, but never sent it. It reads as if he was expecting the Zealots to find him, that they knew where to look for him. Clearly, he had become paranoid, but that does not mean he was wrong. What bothers me, though, is that he mentions a name he should not know. Tomisar Kadik. Yes, I'm sorry. For all of my assignments in the settled systems, Tomisar has been my link to House Baroon. From him, I have received my orders, and he is the person to whom I have reported my success. He does not work with anyone outside House Baroon, and I am the only one who knows how and where to find him. Aaron should never have heard of him. Perhaps. He could have reached out directly, but that would be a surprising breach of protocol. We must first make sure that Jada is safe, and perhaps she will be able to shed light on this. Let us head for the den.
I am, hands down, the best pilot in this dump. Don't let anyone tell you different. Jada? I'm not really supposed to be giving out that kind of information. But hey, you did me a favor with that whole commendation thing. So, I saw Jada with Reyna. Something about zealots in the Groombridge system, and how she was going after them, no matter what. She was really wound up about it. Sounded urgent and pretty serious. Hey, you didn't hear this from me, okay?
Who the hell are you? And what are you doing here? You're what? You've got to be kidding me. You show up here now of all times? Shit. I've got multiple ships inbound. Too late to run. Sure hope you're prepared for a fight. So why don't you tell me what the hell you think you're doing, showing up here now? Years after the fact? With nothing in between? You'll have to forgive me if I find that hard to believe. Suspicious, even. Look, my grav drive is fried. I need time to repair, if I can even manage it. You didn't take the opportunity to blow me up. So either that's not your goal, or you're playing some long game. You want to explain yourself? I can't stop you from coming over here. But I'm gonna be armed, and it's gonna be aimed at her head. Just so we're all clear.
How? How can you possibly show your face?
I am glad to see that you are safe, Jada. I am sorry if this is difficult for you.
Difficult? Are you serious right now? You set us up, killed my friends, and then a decade later you show up like nothing happened? Have you lost your mind?
Set you up? I was not behind that. It was zealots, you know that. We were all attacked.
Don't bullshit me. Not now. And who the hell are you? Her backup dancer? Okay. Clearly I'm fine, relatively speaking. You've got some explaining to do, though. What are you doing here with her? You don't look like Varun to me.
Worried? Worried she hadn't finished me off, maybe. I knew it was only a matter of time.
What are you talking about? I have never acted against you.
You know, for a while I told myself it was a coincidence that you disappeared once the shooting started. That you were long gone when the dust settled. Told myself, no, it couldn't possibly be her. Not after all those years we spent working together. We're friends. So I went after the Zealots. And then I found out the truth. Your damned High Council. They knew. Told the Zealots where to find us.
That's not true. That cannot be true.
Oh, it is.
How? How do you know this? If you have proof, I need to see it right now.
You don't get to demand anything of me, Andreja. I know what I've seen! Because we were a loose end! We knew things. Locations, names. They never trusted us. We were just a mess that needed cleaning up. Why? Because that's what she told you? I've seen things. I've read communications. I've hunted these Zealots.
A name, Jada. Give me a name. You must have heard one by now.
Tomasar. Tomasar Kadik. That's the bastard from the High Council who's been helping the Zealots.
And did you hear this from Aaron?
Aaron? What? No. I haven't talked to him in a year. What do you know about it?
Jada, I swear on the Serpent himself, I would never betray you. I need time to make this right. Can we go somewhere and talk?
I am not giving up on this. I've tracked them this far, and I'm going to see this through. You want your proof? Well, they have it.
I do not understand. It cannot be possible that the High Council would betray us like that. He must have been lying. That is not an option. Even if we could reach them, you are a non-believer. You would be killed. Something about this does not feel right. This message. The code at the bottom. I have seen this before. I know where we need to go. I must explain. House Baroon values secrecy above nearly all else. Those of us sent out into the settled systems, we cannot return. Maybe not forever, but certainly until our mission has been accomplished. When we are assigned a mission, we are taken to a point outside of House Baroon's domain. We do not jump ourselves. We are never given the coordinates for Varun Kai, our homeworld. We literally cannot return. Only a select few are ever trusted with that knowledge. I can never go home. Unless I am permitted. It has been deemed necessary for the protection of House Baroon. And for generations, it has worked. Who am I to question it? But there is something I can do. I cannot travel to my home, but I can reach out another way. But it means putting you in danger in a way you have not been before. I cannot say for certain what will happen. And we have survived this, yes, but what comes next is different. I just want to make that clear. There is an old derelict star station where I may get answers. I know that seems vague. It will become clear when we arrive. Before we go any further, I cannot stress this enough. Keep your weapons at your side. Do not make any sudden moves. Do nothing to appear hostile. This is the only place I can get answers. the only connection I have to House Varun. Please give me a moment. I am not the one who needs to explain himself, Tomisar.
I am surprised by your tone. What has gotten into you? This is very unlike you. Almost insubordinate.
I know what you have done. The messages you sent.
You are not making any sense. Of course I send you messages. That is how this works. That is how it has always worked.
Not to me! To the zealots! To the fanatics who murdered my friends, who tried to murder me!
You must be mistaken, or perhaps confused. Nothing like that has ever happened.
Enough! I have the transcripts, Tomisar. You did this. You told them where to find us.
Now, let's just take a moment. No one wants to make accusations they might regret. You are from that Constellation group. I've heard all about you. You have turned her against me, filled her head with lies. This will not be allowed to stand. Insolence! You have corrupted her!
I said enough! This is between you and me.
This has gone far enough. Talk some sense into her at once. Neither of you would dare lift a finger against me. Against House Varun. I have already said this is a misunderstanding. But I am. If you let Andreja hurt me, I am her only link to the High Council. To House Varun. Without me, she can never return home. You must make her listen to reason.
He is responsible. He deserves to die.
Did you not hear me? You do this, you lose everything!
I heard you. I know what it costs me. But he deserves it. Does he not? I do not know. Maybe. Maybe if the High Council sees what he has done. Fine. Consider yourself fortunate. You get to live.
This is not over! The High Council will hear of your treason!
Perhaps they will hear of your actions as well, Tomisar. Think on that. Come. Let us leave this place. I wish to return to the lodge. Thank you for coming back here with me. I fear that after all that has happened, I am unsure of my place in House Varun. This room may now be the only place I have left to call home. Yes. I know that I am not completely alone. And that offers some comfort. But it is more complicated than that. I do not know how to live without some connection to House Varun. The Great Serpent has always been a guiding force in my life. The force that drives all that I do. What if I have lost that? Yes, that is true. Whatever else has happened or will happen, the Great Serpent still holds a purpose for me. You have been by my side through all of this, the most turbulent time in my life. And you have supported me, faithfully. I have never been able to count on any single person the way I have with you. If I am repeating myself, you will have to forgive me. I cannot overstate what it means to me. I have never had a best friend, but I believe that sounds right. So if we are to be best friends, then I shall do everything I can to be there for you, in the way that you have for me. How can I sit here feeling sorry for myself when there is so much for us to do?
Hey, how's it going out there?
Sure, knock yourself out.
Difficult and lonely are the first words that spring to mind. My folks moved to Aquila out of necessity, not because they thought it'd be easy. They had decades of survival experience between them when we got there. There were still plenty of close calls. Damn near everything wanted to kill us out there. We had to be tough as Kevlar and stubborn as gravity just to make it to sundown every day. Sometimes, I don't miss having to check around every corner for predatory aliens, but there's something magical about living off the land. When a place is providing for you, you learn to see it as more than just a landscape. And that's how I feel about Aquila. It's mean and prickly, and it don't like people much, but it's home. I'll always have a special place in my heart for it. I was 10, old enough to understand why my parents made the choice to leave behind the farm where I was born and move to Aquila. We lived out there for 5 years, long enough for the war to end and the settled systems to quiet down afterward. Fire, starvation, sickness, you name it, the brewers probably lived through it. But the most dangerous thing out there were the Ashta, of course. We tried our damnedest to stay out of their way. That didn't always pan out. They knew we were there, and they didn't like it. Best we could do was stay armed and keep the outpost in good shape. It was the only place we could hide when a hungry Ashta showed up looking for a meal. I'll be sure to pass that along, Captain. My folks would be over the moons to hear that I shared our family story. Mainly folks like you, who travel off the beaten path. All sorts of people work on the fringes of occupied space, and plenty of them need help making their way. I've worked for smugglers, big game hunters, the rangers. Hell, I even worked as a bodyguard for a biologist a couple months. At the end of the day, I'm not picky about where the work comes from. I guess you could say I'm a genuine merc. A few people have hired me to run the Red Mile with them. That job always makes my skin crawl. I like staring death in the face as much as the next guy, but even I don't screw around on Porima 3. Far from it. I barely know a microscope from a grav drive. That biologist hired me for my muscle and my tracking skills, not my scientific expertise. Good thing they did, too. That crazy son of a gun was more willing to put themselves in danger than half the spacers I know. They would have walked straight into a predator's mouth if it meant getting a better tissue sample. Wrong side of the law is just a matter of perspective. That's what I always say. I've met plenty of criminals who are decent people. Your position on crime's your business, not mine. I'll back you up as long as you keep the paychecks coming. My family needs the credits to, settle an old debt. My folks used to own a farm in the Cheyenne system. When they split for Aquila at the beginning of the war, they leased the land to a big corporation for a bit of income. The deal they signed said that the company would pay to use the land each month. Then, when things settled down, my parents could buy it back for its original value. But the scumbags didn't mention they were charging interest on the price. By the time the war ended, my parents owed them 50 times what the land was worth. They've been working at it for about 20 years. Most folks might have given up by now. But like I said before, the brewers are stubborn. The corporation generously agreed to let them live in our old house on the farm and work the land to pay off some of their debts. They don't see a lick of profit from it, though. Their wages go directly to the corporation, and the monthly rent just adds more credits to their debt. You and me both. They clearly wrote the contract to screw my parents over. We've been working our asses off for years trying to get our land back from those corporate scumbags. We're getting there. We've got enough credits set aside to buy their old farmhouse on the property back. But my parents don't want to make any moves until we can pay the whole thing off at once. They don't want to screw around with any more contracts. It's not just a piece of land. It's my family's legacy. The brewers have farmed there for generations. My ancestors are buried there. It's not the kind of place you can just give up on. Just talking about it makes me pretty livid. That damn corporation don't need the money. They're still screwing over honest folk like my parents. I know it weighs heavy on them both. Here's hoping the whole thing will be over soon. We're making some progress, but it's slow going. Okay by me.
Need a hand with something? Oh, okay. If you want to.
That's a tough call. I've seen most of the creatures in the settled systems, and there are plenty of strange ones.
One of the most memorable was an insect-like predator I encountered on a remote planet in the Moloch system.
It hunted by sucking the oxygen from the atmosphere around it to suffocate its prey. Isn't that fascinating? Sure was. All the xenobiology experience in the galaxy won't protect you against something like that. Not without the right gear. People are far from the most dangerous thing out there. It's a good thing we've got weapons and armor to make up the difference. I have a lot of stories that end with me almost becoming something's lunch.
Sure. I have plenty of stories. This one won't make you squirm, I promise. One of my favorite aliens in the settled systems is native to the Archimedes system. It's a massive xylophagic creature with almost impenetrable armor.
They look dangerous, but they're actually quite gentle. When I visited their homeworld, I followed a herd of them for days without any problems.
You and me both, Captain.
We met when I was 19. The UC assigned him to be the co-head of my xeno-warfare unit. Our first day working together, he said there was no way a kid could keep up with him in the lab. I had him eating his words by the end of my first week.
I was close with everyone in the xenobio unit, but Percival and I have a special bond. Even if he is a huge pain in the ass.
What would you like to know? Everyone loves a war story, don't they? Fine, but I'm not going too deep. A lot of things happened back then that I'm not proud of. It's hard for me to think of anything that happened during the war as a victory. I'm not proud of all the harm my xeno-warfare unit did. Our battles got me plenty of commendations, but I don't think they were worth it. I ruined a lot more lives than I saved. The Battle of Nera. I wasn't there, but my soldiers were. We suffered heavy losses. The Red Devils were a family, and losing family is never easy. I still think about the soldiers who never came home.
Really special. There's no better feeling than finding somewhere to belong. That's what the Red Devils were to me. A family to fight beside.
You know, to become a Red Devil, you have to do hard labor in the mines of Mars. When you're down there, the only people you can trust are your fellow miners. That trust made it to the battlefield, too. We had each other's backs every step of the way. I wouldn't trade a single one of them for anything in the universe. No, I don't. The Colony War ruined a lot of lives, including mine. But I do miss my soldiers. It's been a lonely couple of decades.